We're told the FBI is a wall of justice, a shield against the chaos. But if you walk into the basement of the National Archives or scroll through the digital vault, you'll find cracks in that wall. Pages where every second line is blacked out. Investigations that were solved on paper but remain open in the minds of those who saw too much. Tonight, we aren't looking at the headlines. We're looking at the shadows. From the alien recovery memos of the 50s to the genius inventor whose brain was literally seized by the state. Lock the door. Turn down the lights. These are the FBI's deepest, darkest conspiracy files. 1. Project Blue Book and AMP. The FBI, 2 o'clock. The Air Force took the heat, but the Bureau kept the secrets. 1947 Roswell happens. The world goes quiet. But behind the scenes, a secret war for information was beginning. While the public focused on Project Blue Book, the Air Force's attempt to debunk UFOs, the FBI was running its own shadow investigation. In the FBI vault today, you can find the Hottel Memo. It's a 1950 report from Agent Guy Hottel to Director J. Edgar Hoover. It describes 3 circular objects, 50 feet in diameter, each occupied by 3 bodies of human shape. But only 3 feet tall. Long pause. They were dressed in metallic cloth of a very fine texture. Short pause. The official FBI stance? It's just a memo about a rumor. But why did Hoover personally order his agents to secure any physical evidence before the military could even arrive on the scene? Throughout the 50s and 60s, agents were caught tailing witnesses and confiscating camera film. If it was all just swamp gas and weather balloons, why did the most powerful law enforcement agency on Earth spend thousands of man-hours tracking lights in the sky? Maybe it wasn't about the ships. Maybe it was about who was flying them, and why they were talking to us. 2. Nikola Tesla's missing papers. 2 o'clock. The man who invented the future died in poverty. His ideas, however, became government property. January 7, 1943. Room 3327 of the New Yorker Hotel. Nikola Tesla, the man who gave us AC electricity, radio, and remote control, takes his last breath. Before his body was even cold, the Office of Alien Property, acting under FBI supervision, entered his room. They spent days packing up dozens of trunks filled with his life's work. Why? Because Tesla wasn't just working on light bulbs. He claimed to have perfected a teleforce weapon, a death ray that could melt airplane engines from 250 miles away. He also spoke of harvesting the ether, free, wireless energy for the entire planet. The FBI called in an MIT professor named John G. Trump, yes, that Trump family, to analyze the papers. He officially declared there was nothing to see. But here's the glitch: when Tesla's nephew finally received the trunks years later, 60 of them were missing. Short pause. To this day, the FBI claims they don't have them. They claim they were lost or never existed. But witnesses at the hotel that night saw the trucks being loaded. Did the FBI hide the key to free energy to protect the oil industry? Or is the death ray sitting in a black site lab, waiting for a war that hasn't happened yet? 3. D.B. Cooper, the inside job. The perfect crime requires a perfect disappearance. Or a perfect cover-up. Imagine a man sitting seat 18C. He orders a bourbon and soda, lights a cigarette, and leans over to the flight attendant to show her a briefcase full of wires and red sticks. This was D.B. Cooper. He demanded $200,000 and 4 parachutes. Short pause. When the plane landed in Seattle, he got his money, released the passengers, and ordered the pilot to fly toward Mexico. Somewhere over the Washington wilderness, in a freezing rainstorm, he lowered the aft stairs and jumped into history. The FBI spent 45 years on this case. They looked at 800 suspects. They found nothing but a few degraded $20 bills in the mud of the Columbia River. But the theory that keeps investigators up at night isn't that he died. It's that he was a ghost. Short pause. Cooper knew the exact flap settings to keep the plane stable with the door open. He knew how to navigate a jump in a storm. These are CIA-level skills. Many believe the FBI failed to find him because they knew exactly who he was, one of their own, or a cover military asset. Short pause. In 2016, they closed the file. Case unsolved. You don't close the most famous hijacking in history unless you're tired of people asking the right questions. 4. The Finders, the cult in the shadows. 2 o'clock. A white van, 6 kids, and a trail that led directly to the CIA. This is the one the internet tried to forget. 1987, Tallahassee. Police pull over 2 well-dressed men with 6 disheveled children. The men claimed to be part of a school in Washington, D.C. called the Finders. When the FBI took over the case from local police, things got weird, fast. Raids on the group's DC headquarters revealed teletype machines, sophisticated encrypted communications, and documents that mentioned child procurement for overseas clients. Long pause, then, the wall went up. A customs service memo leaked later, stating that the FBI had been told to back off because the Finders were a CIA internal matter. Wait. Why would a group accused of the unthinkable be protected by the intelligence community? The investigation was scrubbed. The men were released. The children were sent away. The FBI's own files, later released via FOIA, show a massive internal struggle between agents who wanted to prosecute and higher-ups who wanted it buried. Short pause. Was the Finders a training ground for deep cover operatives? Or was it something much darker that reached the highest levels of the US government?